At the very end of the road, at the southern edge of the United States, the island of Key West runs out into impossibly clear blue water. And here, on the quietest corner of the island, is a beach that locals will tell you is the best in town, guarded by a brick fortress with a remarkable past. This is about as far south as you can stand on the mainland chain of America, closer to Havana than to Miami. Out here, the warm Gulf of Mexico meets the Atlantic, and the only thing between this shore and Cuba is 90 miles of open, shimmering sea. Behind the palms stands the reason this park exists. Fort Zachary Taylor, a great three-story fort of brick, begun in 1845 to guard the new nation's southern coast. It was named for Zachary Taylor, the general turned president who died in office in 1850 while the walls were still rising from the sea. It took 21 years to build. Yellow fever swept the work crews, hurricanes battered the supply ships, and the brick had to come by sea from 1,000 miles away. The fort was not finished until 1866, but long before then, it would play a quiet and decisive role in the Civil War. When Florida left the Union in 1861, a small group of soldiers slipped into the unfinished fort under cover of night and raised the United States flag. Though it stood in a Confederate state, Fort Taylor never fell. For 4 long years, it held Key West, and the flag never came down. From here, the United States Navy ran its East Gulf Blockading Squadron, choking off the Confederate ports and capturing blockade runners by the hundred. The fort bristled with huge Rodman and Columbiad guns that could throw a shell 3 miles out to sea. No Confederate ship ever dared to test them. Later, the Army rebuilt the fort, and in doing so they buried the old Civil War cannons inside the new walls as cheap rubble fill and forgot them. Then, in 1968, a volunteer began to dig and uncovered gun after gun, the largest collection of Civil War cannons in the United States, sealed in brick for almost a century. Today the guns are silent, and the fort guards nothing but a beach. A long jetty of great grey boulders reaches out into the water, breaking the swell and sheltering the sand, a favorite perch for pelicans and for anyone who comes to watch the sun go down. Because the deep ship channel runs close to shore, the water here is the clearest in Key West. The edge of the only living coral barrier reef in the continental United States lies just offshore, and snorkelers drift over a world of fish, sea fans, and silver tarpon. On the sand, the old fort feels a world away. Palms lean over the beach, the water glows green and gold, and it is hard to imagine that this peaceful shore was once the most heavily armed corner of the Southern Sea. That is Fort Zachary Taylor, a Civil War fortress and a hidden beach at the very bottom of America, where the brick walls keep their secrets and the water keeps its blue. If you want to keep wandering places like this, follow along and let us keep exploring the world together.